I'll be honest with you. I'm having a frustrating time talking about this record because there's so much information I want to get across in a short period of time. It's the Beatles at number 4 on WTBC's playlist. P.S. I Love You. I still feel something for this song. I listened to it again on YouTube and I was like, man, it still hits the spot. I mean, this is something like you'd want to sing to your crush. As a kid, I just adored this record, as I did every other Beatle record. P.S. I Love You by the Beatles at number 4 on WTBC's playlist the week of May 22nd, 1964. It was released in England in 1962. It went to number 17 in Great Britain. It was the B-side of Love Me Do, the Beatles' debut hit in England and the UK, and it went to number 10 when it was re-released over here in the States in 1964. The song was recorded on September the 11th, 1962. It was done in 10 takes. And this is where I get to the frustrating part, and I'm going to try to tell this story as best I can. Pete Best was the original drummer of the Beatles. But when the Beatles hooked up with George Martin was not impressed with Pete Best. He thought that Pete Best was not technically good enough to play drums during the recording session. Playing live, that's one thing, but when you get into that recording session and you're making hit records, you want to be on par. So George Martin brought this guy, a session drummer, a professional session drummer named Andy White, to play drums. He plays drums on this song, but to complicate the story a little bit, apparently George Martin didn't realize that the Beatles had already replaced Pete Best with Ringo Starr. Now, some accounts, I've read some accounts where George Martin knew that Ringo Starr was the new drummer, but he didn't have enough faith in Ringo Starr at that point to put him on playing drums on P.S. I Love You, so he got Andy White to play drums on P.S. I Love You, a session drummer. But Ringo Starr plays the maracas on the record. That's it. P.S. I Love You is the Beatles at number 4 on WTBC's playlist.